Hey you guys, welcome to my channel, Heyoka High Priestess. I am Christy, a seer healer, Heyoka empath, and we speak on the truth, divine justice, hope, the Holy Spirit, healing, and spirituality. Okay, you guys, y'all passed a test. Or a couple tests, or so, but like, y'all passed a test, okay? Known to you or not, okay? But you guys definitely in alignment. You yourself and you are in alignment. So you know how they say that saying, like, your new life will cost you your old life, right? So really you guys are at, and even you guys, even this is like for myself as well, okay? We are the reflection of each other. Anyways, okay, you know what they say, like, we can't become what we need to be until our ghost, like the old us, the old habits, the old routines that maybe kept you stuck, the old ways of thinking, the old judgments of ourselves, right? Is fully shed. And you guys have done this. You've done this. And it maybe even something like, I know someone, and like even myself, I think, like something occurred, like it's like you stayed in alignment and were unbothered, like genuinely unbothered, maybe by being around a certain family member or friends, and I don't think it was like said anything directly towards you, but like, you know, energy is felt, and just being around them again, you weren't affected in the same way as you would have before. Even if you ignored it, like even tried to ignore it, it would still weigh on you. And now it's like forgotten. You know, it was like the passing by the stranger on the street, right? You maybe think or look at them for a second, what have you. So, and please, you guys, let me know, like in the comments, if something has, like in the past couple of days or over the last weekend, have you had an interaction? Because I mean, like, I know I have, yeah. So with my sister and stuff. So it felt like it didn't carry. It didn't, like, what, you know, it wasn't the greatest conversation, but I stood up for myself, and it didn't carry the weight of me feeling guilty or shameful, because I knew I was honoring myself, and I was hoping that you know, I was hoping for like a better outcome, like from her, maybe like more like taking accountability for like what is blatantly what had been done, but no. And it's, you know, but it was interesting because like she was the one that more like, you know, got really upset, and so it was like, all right, like then we can get off the phone. Like we don't need anything from one another, you know, at least at this time. So that's what I'm talking about. It's like, and that's expansion. And so, right, like even to like fear to like have that conversation or like see that person again or what have you, but it's that moment of like, whoa, I have done healing. I have allowed myself the time and the space for even grieving even a situation that didn't close out properly, or, you know, all the truths weren't said, you know, they weren't, but it was like, that's why time, and like taking time for ourselves, like even, you know, if we can take that full like time, physical time, that's like alone, grounding, like in stillness, what have you, but also like that mental understanding and processing through, talking it out, allowing ourselves to get frustrated with it, but knowing like, yes, there are things out of our control, and like, what if I never got closure, or what if it, and even that, it was like, was that closure? Like, not, it wasn't, the truth wasn't all said. So, but it's like, it's also okay. Like, I know I'm okay. It's even like understanding truly, like even when the whole narcissist came out, right? That became like a big thing. We then understood the dynamic, like even like the dynamic between like even a narcissist and an empath, that it's not paralysis, the paradox or the paradigm to like the to the empath, to the narcissist. I'm just saying, once we understand, you know, like, and what effort we put behind and like, you know, like, we've like maybe researched or like just seen it for what it is, or have the definition to then think of like that person and like, wow, like, oh, that's gaslighting. Like we ourselves can put the pieces of the puzzles together, and then also frame ourselves as well and be like, where did I sit in that? Was I acting like that? I hope that makes sense. I know that's just an example, but because like I said, you can't always, a lot of things are out of our control, and then we sit and fester and let our nervous system get all out of whack, and like we're angry, and we want to project or blame, you know, others, and like, I mean, we don't have the full truth, or like we feel like we haven't had the help, you know, and so, and it feels like it's impossible, like it's like you're like, my life's over, or what have you, but like when you can like when you start to break you down and know what your truths are within a dynamic, say like with a friend group, or with the ex that was gaslighting you, that was a covert narcissist, and then you start mapping it, and you're like, I was always in my consistent truth of being caring, you know, for their needs, and you know, pretty much like cradling and like holding that connection together, not realizing like you're the one carrying all of that weight, but then you're the one that's getting dismissed or like gaslit, or like, you know, you're the problem. Like how does that align? It doesn't. So that's what I'm saying. Like if we can break these things down, you guys, and like learn about down to like what a covert narcissist is, and these are just examples of, I'm just using narcissism because there's like 9 different traits, but like then you start to recognize the patterns in people, and like in where, so you're not going stir crazy just because they're choosing to act or be in a certain way that maybe that's all they know of. That can sometimes be someone's reality, because if, you know, like even with like a covert narcissist, being a victim to your own narcissism, that person has been living in that truth. Like they believe that like they do no wrong, even though they're like, you know, attacking you in the conversation. And it's like, what does that have to do with our conversation right now? You know what I mean? And so like, because they feel attacked, right? And that's what I even thought about that, because I'm like, well, of course I was in that relationship for so long, because when someone's living in like such a false, like an illusion of what they think they've always been, because they're not willing to like break themselves down and heal, why would I not believe that? That's what they are fully coming as that. So that's why, like when like those tower moments happen, or say like, you know, that person like lied and you have proof and you show them. I mean, like sometimes they will literally dismiss what they're looking at, like full, actual, tangible proof. I know this is getting like in depth, but like I'm just saying, like that's how strong, you guys. Like if we don't choose to like see where we fit and be truly honest with ourselves, like you then could be living in a totally false narrative of yourself, and then you're wondering why, like, or like people are starting to pull away from you, you know, because they're awakening to how that person's affected them, and like, you know, or actual truths come out, and then it starts to break down. So, and that's what they say, like it's like once someone admits to themselves, like, okay, maybe I was wrong, it like breaks the illusion. Or like, you know when they say like for someone that is like that uses like substance abuse, when they finally like even say like, maybe I have a problem, or like I drink too much, or I like, yeah, like I do like smoke that like on my own, or weed or whatever, or something like that, you know what I mean? Like I probably am doing, like that is breaking yourself open to what is real, to even though you're like, you know, like, and you thought your hidden ways, what you think, because right, those things start off as like, well, it's okay, I can do it here or there, and then you're like kind of like, and then it gets away from you, right? So that's where I'm saying like we can really fall down, fall out, and then it's like we don't want anyone to know, and so it's like then you start lying, and then it's like, and then you just become distant, and all these things, right? And then you could create a whole fantasy of like your false reality, right? So, but back to this, like you guys have like broken these things down, like about with yourself, right? Because you know, we're not here to just like make sure everyone else is like figuring out. No, like it starts with us, you guys, to even see clearly who, what, where is around us, and what is affecting us, what is draining us, where we are feeling, you know, like where did I go wrong in this relationship? And they're like, you know, shifting away, or right, or they're straight lying, and like you are going a little crazy because you're like, there's no way, like how are you lying to me when it's like, I know, like I've seen this and this, and they're like, no, you're like, and then that becomes that projection of like, no, you're crazy, you know what I mean? And you're like, no, I know I'm not. And that is why it's so important to always be very clear with yourself, right? Because yes, we all mess up in things, but like the more we understand our own ways of thinking, acting, doing, and also where our shadow lies, right? The more we can understand others, and then see the patterns of like, you know, where we feel triggered and then maybe we attack back, or like, you know, and then find, you know, a common ground, not like within, if you can find that common ground between like you and that person, or knowing when to say like, this is unhealthy. I'm not going to be a part of this because I see my side of it, and not needing always to have that sense of like it, and it can come down to like a control, right? Where we need them to see us. We need them to like, to see our worth because we see it and we know what we were, but it's not for them always. It's not even their time because they're not seeing them. So how, if they don't see them, how are they ever going to see you? It almost allows, I'm not saying for it to be okay, but all you need to know is like you've surpassed, you know, that understanding. So like, even, you know, if they're choosing not to see it, if they're like running away from it, if they're just going to yell at you some more, you're kind of like, it's like, all right, like hands up, like there is no going anywhere with that. Right? And that's why we say it's like, it's not our responsibility, and nor, you know, some, it's like you're speaking a different language sometimes, but you know that you've done like your side of it, your healing, your understanding. So it's not going to affect you because you're more so unbothered by it because you have broken it down to understand and see it for what it is, see them for who they choose to be and act in that moment. That's where like God even is saying like, you guys have like dropped that weight knowingly or not, and that's why I'm breaking it down for you, because it's not like curdling inside of you to where you're like, why aren't you like, you know, getting this, like why aren't you, right? And then there's the ones that even choose to misunderstand you, and like that's some like narc shit, but it's like, release it. It's like, you know that you're there, like who do you need to show that to but yourself? And trust me, the ones that see your growth have grown, right? And that's why we move away from the toxic, because it can keep us drained and stuck. We don't want to keep looping back into their narrative, their false reality that they're choosing not to see, right? Because you've already broken free from that. You see it clearly, and you can have compassion and like empathy for that person, but you know that you can't stay around that person. And then, trust me, like, that's where God really is, like, knows why he can even have us, like, we are all like those mirrors to each other, right? We're all like playing roles to like learn these lessons, right? And so once you see it, it's like lesson learned, and now you move away from that, because now that person will have to, like, when God says, or what have you, like, that their time will come, but it's not your responsibility to like get them there. It's like you've graduated, and it's still just their time. They have to do another year. You know what I mean? But you got to go to college. Like, you got to go to the next class, or like, what are you going to stay behind the class where you graduated already? No, you would like be caretaking then for that person that can never then learn on their own, because you're like, well, I already know how to do it, so let me just, you know what I mean? I know the shit that I like come up with like that. But so you guys like super like pass a test. Like, that's how like God says it. Like you were graceful and like, and stayed in your chakras were still like aligned, and it's like you moved through it, whatever it was, it's almost like it maybe kind of hiccup back at you because you moved through it so well. Like, you kind of had to like think like, whoa, did that just like occur? Like, and that's why it's always good you guys to like check back in. And that's the beauty of taking the time to see you and what you can do, with what is in your control. And you are always in your control of your feelings, of like, of how you're going to take a stance in your life and grow from that. And like, yeah, it hurt, but you're like, I'll never let that hurt me again, kind of thing. Right? And that's sadly to say, like, even in the Bible, like, it's, like our biggest growth, our biggest ego deaths, like, definitely there was ego deaths. Like, you guys, definitely someone went through a major ego death. Like, had to, like, wouldn't even have known how to go through one without it just hitting. Like, it's like, had to see around them, and the people and things had to see truth, like, to break free from even where they were lying, or they were like lying to themselves, or just looping back into the toxicity, into the chaos, which can sometimes, you guys, when we're raised in that, that's all you know. So it's like comfortable, and you're not even second guessing, like, or realizing like, this is kind of crazy, because the people around you are probably just as much in it. Like, so it's hard to see. So like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, sometimes God will have to like have those tower moments, or like you to awaken to yourself, because like you're feeding into what you like, maybe when you're on your own, is not healthy, right? But then we get back into the loop with it, and it becomes the normal when it's not normal. We're breaking free from ourselves, from our old, we're having the ego death. So you guys are like now seeing the bigger picture, because it's almost like God has, like, when you go through those ego deaths, it's like God is breaking you free from your own toxicity, your own way of just being, which could totally be like super in that ego, and like, lying, or like, like little white lies, or like whatever that turn to bigger lies, that, and you start looping into something that's like, how do you even get yourself out of that, right? It becomes you. So that's why we say, even forgive them, for they don't know all the time, you guys. But at the same time, like, once you do know, you can't go back, and that's why we have to be careful, like, boundaries. But like, we're not allowing, we can still move around, or people, places, things that we have to be maybe around, but like, you are in your alignment. You're not falling to those moments of like maybe other people trying to pull you in, and like with gossip, or like, or just like trying to poke around, like, like in your life, right, to like get information or something, right? And you see it as like, oh, they like just want to be my friend. No, it's like, I mean, like, I'm just saying, and this is not for like every situation, but like, you are recognizing the patterns. You're recognizing the people that you even like took space from. And so keep with your boundaries, and like, so you can stay in that ebb and flow, because it can easily pull us back, right? Because, you know, we want to be kind, we want to, but like, we don't need to please, you know, no, it's a whole statement, but I'm just saying, like, it's like, and the quicker you'll recognize it, if you do feel like you're falling back, or like the habit, or like, because you're like, oh, one night maybe, right? But checkmate yourself, like checkmate, like, no, like the last time I did that, it took me like even longer to like get that hangover off of me when I just had that one drink, because I really was stayed away from that habit for like a month, you know? So it's like, it's just that kind of thing, you guys, you know? And you know, we all have our stronger boundaries, for some things are just cannot be in our life, and like some people cannot be in our life, and it just is. But like, right? But God will also bring things back in for that test. Like, you know, once you've had that time of like being consistent in like your healing and wherever that is in your life, and like sometimes, and it will be like a test until you guys fucking pass the test. Like, it's like, you pass the test. Like, yeah, okay. And it could have been multiple tests. Like, I'm not kidding. Maybe you like didn't take the drink, and you like knew the boundary with the person that you ran into at the event or whatever, or like had the family reunion or something. So, but seriously, like, right? It's like, you know, it's like, ooh, you know, and it's nothing to be paranoid, you guys, but good job. Like, totally good job. And like proud of you, and God's proud of you too. But yeah, you guys kept your alignment. You kept whatever, and it also didn't bother you, whatever it was. You didn't think like a second thought about it. I mean, now you might think about it, but like, totally put it in the comments if you guys want, you know. But be proud of yourselves, like whatever it is. Maybe it was just even like you told yourself you were like go on a walk or whatever, and then like you were really like, oh, I'm not like, you know, this is my fourth day, like I can take a break, you know. But then you're like, no, like don't, and then you didn't, and then you went on that fourth day of that walk, and maybe took the fifth day off, shit like that, you guys. Okay, those are those little moments, because God's like, are you gonna push through this? Are you gonna recognize it real quick, you know? And that alone is like, not only you like challenging yourself, saying like, no, I promised myself that I was going to do at least 4 days, or really 5 days, and then take a break, or what have you. But like, you like being cognizant of it, of like what you have set your goals to, have set your standards to, have set your boundaries to with people, places, things, right? Because you never know, things can pop in, and it's like it caught me off guard. It's like, but it's like you guys moved through whatever the fuck it was very graceful. Very graceful. And that was you over time allowing things that may hurt you. You know, you had been grieving, you took that time or whatever it was, and you also were processing and growing and expanding within self, and saying like, knowingly, that's not going to ever affect me the same way again. Okay, so I just got actually an example. This is for somebody that they either it's a female, and they have to be around. They have to be like, it's like either a mother figure, or like it's like a sibling, or it's like someone that like maybe even in a workspace. And this could be, I guess it could be for a male too, but like in a workspace that you've been in for a long time, but because you've been growing and all these things, you like stood up to like something that you would let go. And that person always kind of like does the thing, and you're like, it's not worth it. No, like you set a boundary without setting a boundary, or you stood up for yourself, and it's like kind of stunned them for a second. Like they were like, what? And you're like, yeah, and you kept it cool, calm, and collective. And you're like, no, like I need this when like this is the date. Like say it was like, you know, they just are like, oh, I'll get it to you, and I get it, and you're like, no, this is when it is. Like I will need that, or it's not going. It was like, yeah, it was something like that, because it's something that you still have to see these people. You can't just be like, bye. I mean, like, you could, but like, you know, like, obviously, like, be responsible with, you know, when you're ready, or whatever, but you know what I mean? No, okay, I'm getting sidetracked. No, but it was something like, you just made a very, very bold statement. It was like one of those bold statements that's like, no, this is what it is, and you're not gonna come back and fight me like that. It was like the person was stunned. Like they were like, it was like checkmate, and then you literally like, no, this is this, and then it's like you like picked up the phone for like another, that's like what I was seeing. But like, and it's if it was the workspace one, and if it was a sister or mother figure, you just held your ground on something that they constantly try and like get into your business and like want to know things, and you're like, no, why are you even asking about that? That's personal, and I don't feel comfortable. Best way I can put it, they were both matter-of-fact statements. Like you stood in your higher self, and you didn't have to wait for them to respond, because it was a matter of fact. And they were like, did not know, because it was off the cusp for them. And it's almost like how they didn't even know how to process that, because they were so used to doing the thing that they do and not even letting you have a word in edgewise. It was like those two. You just stood your ground, and you like both things were like, okay, like like they didn't have answers, like they didn't have words, and you still should feel very good about that. And I will say, you guys, sometimes those moments, you'll do it, like your higher self will take over, and like you will just, something will come out of you, and because it's been needing to for a long time, but you always like held back or something. Sometimes, and this has happened to me, and I just like, it's almost like it was a channel of like my higher self just like, I'm stepping in and like we're doing this, and you can then like walk away, like and then you were like, what did I just do? And I'm not saying those ones were like that, but they might have been for you, like where you kind of had to like, whoa, did that just happen? Like, did I just do that? Like, okay. And the two people are like stunned, like they're like, they won't be like doing that again to you. You know what I mean? Like you made your mark, like, and you continue to follow through with those markings, like seriously. And that's what it takes sometimes. That can happen, where our higher self is just going to pinch it in the butt for you, and no one is ever going to try and use a workspace or like, I'm the mother, I should know, I need to know all kind of excuse again, right? Yeah, that this is how we face ourselves and stand in our power, and then. It's like how people like go and like fear people, like they like try to be like, I'll beat you up, like no, like, or they beat them up, and then it's like they are then scared of that like person. But no, like you just stood in your truth, because it was about time, and that it had to be nipped in the fucking ass, and you're more confident, and you broke through a fucking like layer, like that. Those are moments of like awakenings to your higher timeline, that's your higher self. Standing in your truth, speaking your truth, and being grounded, bold, confident, and direct. And that's it. And you guys aren't living in this survival mode anymore, which also, when we live in that survival mode, that's fear, right? We don't know what's like going to come next. We allow other people to conquer us because we're like, oh, it's not worth it, or or because we haven't tried another way. But when something continues to affect you, poke the bear enough, the bear's gonna fucking roar. Okay? But you guys, you feel different. I think you feel different, like seriously. And yeah, you're releasing, it's time now, like you're releasing the old ghost. That old ghost that like shying back. No, because you already just stepped into your full like bear, mama bear, daddy bear. Okay? And you can't go back now. Can't go back, and you will start to use your that confidence and the dominance in a positive way for your betterment. And that's also, you guys, when we intuit and like we like second guess ourselves, and we get into that like area of like, should I say something, shouldn't I? Sometimes you just do, because that's exactly what was supposed to occur. And that's a practice form, but at the same time, it's always been in all of us, you guys. We know every time that person came and was like, oh, I'll get it to you when I get, And, you know, you knew every fucking time you knew what you wanted to say, or you went home and you were like, fuck this person, you know, like, I'm telling them next time. I'm just saying, like, we know our higher self is always there in us. It is just when others take a higher stance and, like, you know, and then this stuff does happen in the workplace a lot, like, or like the parent is just always the dominant, like they never handled their narcissism, you know what I mean? It becomes that stance from their end, right? And then that energy that they're expectant of it, right? And then it just starts to patterning. It's the pattern begins. You know, just because we're a little, you know, just because we can see it and we know it's like, that's not okay, but like, we're like, all right, let it go, let it go. No. This is how we take our power back. And you guys, these are forms. I don't care if this is how verbal abuse and things like this is how abuse begins. It's like, you know, it's one person, knowingly or not, being the dominant piece, using their authority, using their carelessness, or like, oh, they don't mind, assuming, and being a jackass to their advantage. So yes, we all get to stand up and be that jackass for that moment, because you needed to show them who you are, and that them is not going to work on you any longer. That is what I'm talking about. All right? And watch that dynamic shift real fucking quick. And I'm telling you right now, people must then, will see you differently, respect you. Yeah, this is why it's like, we do not let people walk all over us. We all care. We are all human beings with beautiful souls, and some ugly ones. We all have a place in this world, and we should all voice when we are not feeling respected, and get to question and stand up. I mean, I can go on and on about this, but good job, you guys. Like, seriously, good job. Okay, that just opened a floodgate to who you really are, who you've always been. And you guys, I'm telling you, it's like that breakthrough. It's like that epiphany. And you just do, and you're like, why wasn't I not doing this before? You shattered off that old self, that fear, the anxiety that was keeping you kept. But you're like, shake it off of me. Like, you're like, fuck that. And sometimes you have to get that mad. You have to get that frustrated, and it just comes out, you know? And then boom, the whole dynamic is shifted for good. Rightfully so. And I will tell you this, I was going to hop into this next one, but this is probably already long. And, but what's coming for you guys is like, first, but what I was going to say, God favors the brave. Each and every one of us is here to be in our highest, most confident selves. And yes, it comes in waves. It comes in that those are our learning curves. That's a little like we step into the confidence more. But yeah, like, God will gift you for what, like, those, he waits on us, you guys. He's like, trust me, all those signs, all the things, those are always showing us something, like, go do, like, come on, get there, you know, because he's always pushing us. And it's hard, right? Especially when we've been under someone's foot when we should have never been, and they were taking advantage of that. No, we see now. Let me say this last part, because this essentially is like saying, this is like, it's interesting because I'd written this earlier, and then getting those two downloads right then correlates. So I was like, because I was gonna like wait on this, but it's perfect. So you have successfully starved out an entity. Okay, so like, whomever you guys faced up to, whomever you just allowed it to be, and you stayed in your truth, and you're like, yeah, that's right, kind of thing, right? You started out an entity that was completely controlling you, like was having control over you, making you feel like you couldn't speak up, making you, like, dismissing you before you even could say something. This is how these entities on people, these narcissistic spirits, all these things, if they ain't healing them, if the person with the entity, the spirit on them, is not healing nor recognizing how they are treating the people around them, the co-workers, all these things, that fucking entity is loud and proud, and it expects not to be stood up against. So the fact that you guys did, that's how you break free from what it is, and how you're standing up for yourself to that person. You're showing them you're not fucking with me anymore. Because they will. You guys, that's what people take advantage, knowingly even. That's control. That is having power of control, and it's not okay. That's why we can't wait for these people to change. We change. We get out of that situation. We stand up for ourselves and say, no more. You guys have taken the necessary action to starve this entity out of your life. In ways, right? Starving, even in that moment of saying, no, you're not going to take advantage and just give me the document whenever. Then I'm on their fucking time. You starve that narcissist. No, you're going to change. You're going to change. You're going to get it on time because that's the fucking policy and that we work. You know what I mean? So boom, or you put a whole halt to, no, mom, this is my personal business. I don't have to tell you everything. Have boundaries with your son. You know what I mean? So yeah. And where can these people go from that? They know you're right. They were just meddling or taking advantage of you being the kinder, softer. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not okay. Okay, guys? So you starve them out. Whatever action or words or consistency of negativity that they were constantly using against you, you starved that shit out and you stood in your power. Okay? Yeah. So now they can sit with the uncomfortability of what the fuck just happened, and maybe go check in the mirror because you guys aren't dealing with that any longer. Okay. So you turned away. This is you're cutting off that action of theirs. That is not good for anyone, by the way. So good job. You did your cutoff game, big time. Okay. So there was also what we call a paternal lineage distortion. Okay, so paternal lineage distortion, and this is what in psychology, family systems, some spiritual traditions, right? So these are those curses or the patterns that continue down the line that are totally toxic and negative, and no one, it's brushing under the rug. Yeah, well, no. Okay, so this was occurring in someone. This is the father, a father-son dynamic, father-son rivalry, where this is an example, a father who competes with his son instead of encouraging him, right? Which is so messed up because you look up to your dad, but then he's using it as a form of competition when you're wait, what? I'm just I want you to be proud of me, and he doesn't know how. And then we call conditional love, not unconditional love, right? Conditional love. The son believes he must achieve or be perfect, because there is no perfect, to earn his father's approval. I have even felt this, always grasping at my dad to even see me, and what happens to that when the father abandons or doesn't know how to connect with even the daughter or the son. We then start to use that. We then date that, as we grow up. That's that the daddy issues or mommy issues. Well, this can occur this. So yeah, so that's conditional love, not unconditional, conditional. The son believes he must achieve, when in reality, the father is never going to approve because he's competing with his son without telling him. So, and then you have envy or narcissistic family dynamics that occur, right? We're competing with our son, that you're envious of your child. It's living vicariously through your kid, right? And then So this what stirs up, right? An envy or narcissistic family dynamics. A parent feels threatened by the child's gifts or success. It's like, oh, I should have done that when I was, but it doesn't say these things, just like fuels this like envy towards their kid, and then uses like authoritative mannerisms or like control to like keep them kept, like so they can't really succeed, like holds them back. Oh my God, like how sick is this? Yeah, but this is real. Like this happens. So a parent feels threatened by the child's gifts or success, and undermines them, keeps them feeling insecure, belittling, and all of a sudden is like, oh, I need to make you proud, so I'll keep working harder and harder. So this can occur, you guys, in some families, but it should not be assumed without evidence, okay? So scapegoat or golden child roles, which we talk about these things all the time, right? One child is blamed, criticized, or held back while another is idealized. Okay, this totally happened in my family for sure. So these are recognized concepts in family systems. This is what, when we can't change, that you're not going to change that adult. That's why you also accept them for who they are. You have to. Yeah, if you're the child, you have a whole life ahead of you. You must see these things, you guys, for what they are. And it's sad and it hurts and it's like very uncomfortable, but you are never going to achieve and get results that you need, which is love, unconditional love from that parent to see you and see your worth and tell you these things and hold you. They can't. They are not capable of. And you guys, these are recognized concepts in family systems. Like we call my dad like the golden child, like, well, if golden child always thinks like they get what they want when they want, that's it being in an ego. And, we're fueling that. We're calling, it's like you are feeding that ego, that distortion of no fairness, of never, of like them always thinking they're above. I mean, like, right? And then everyone's a threat. Their own child can be a threat if they're achieving more, especially a son dynamic to a father, right? Or like a mother to her daughter, right? Living vicariously until it's like, no, like this is why they have to heal too. Everyone does, you guys. We have to recognize this, or you must separate. That's why I said some of you guys will have to literally, like, it's like ex-nay, like live your life. This is when we accept the person for exactly what they are. We are not going to change them. They'd have to choose to go to therapy too. They have to choose to admit that out loud to themselves, apologize. We don't wait for these things, you guys. It's just like you're not going to stay in that toxic relationship when the girl is like cutting your car up and all these kind of things. You know what I mean? You must. This is like save yourself, because you're not going to live in this constant cycle when the person is totally checked out and not even on your same lane, in your same lane of understanding, right? Doesn't even know how to tell you that either. It's scary. Right? It's like two people. Okay. But so these are like inherited scarcity mindsets, beliefs like there's never enough, fear of success, or chronic financial anxiety passed from one generation to the next. Absolutely, that occurred in my family. Or this is a big one, emotional neglect. This starts from maybe that parent shouldn't have even been a parent, because they're not even emotional. They're not emotionally in tune to themselves. How can they give that affection, that love to that child? Right? And this was big in the generation before us. Our parents, you guys, the baby boomers. It was like brush it under the rug, like do for our children, like be the micromanager in our child's life, and then they never know how to do when they're like older, and then the parent ends up needing you, and you feel guilt, right? Because they respect your elders. Well, guess what? You're like dealing with a grown adult as your parent in like a 14-year-old mindset of like jealousy, envy, like selfishness, like greed, like, yeah. So keywords right here. So when some spiritual teachers, right, and this is the side of it, talk about lineage distortion, right? So, and like I would say, like breaking these curses that cannot keep trickling down. They are so toxic. They are so disconnected. It's disconnect, right? And we learn to have no emotional connection to who is supposed to be the closest people in our lives that gave birth to you. Like, you know what I mean? So spiritual teachers say lineage distortion often means that a healthy family pattern has become twisted over generations. For example, protection becomes control, leadership becomes domination, discipline becomes abuse. Okay, provision becomes manipulation. Healthy ambition becomes competition with one's own children. Yeah. Love becomes something that feels earned instead of freely given. If you have a child, that should always be unconditional love. You are going to your child becomes the most important. Like, you are putting yourself on a back burner knowingly that you're bringing another life into this world. And no, it's not just till 18 that's your forever kid. Okay, guys, you know what I mean? Like, so be cognizant. You know, how healed are you? Like, seriously, we need to, this is so, because this is what we're sitting in right now, you guys. This is our world. This is our world. Look, this is it right here. So this is an example, sticking to what we said above, a paternal lineage in which fathers repeatedly compete with their sons, withhold affirmation, positive affirmation, like compliments or, you know, lifting them up, withhold affirmation and perceive the next generation as a threat. Like your own children are a threat to you, rather than a legacy. And this is why we are now saying we are our own legacy. We are not carrying these toxic distortions of what envying your own child, which then you can become abusive towards because you want to be them. Like missing the whole point of like, that was your sperm, that was your, like, wow. Okay, sorry. But you know what I mean? But now, yeah, we are stepping into, we are the ones here to heal these toxic dynamics. This is abuse. Like this is abuse. And I'm not saying we are healing them. No. Don't. This is where we accept, or we see it for what it is. We can have a conversation. I mean, you know, good luck, but like, right? So we're not healing our parents. Like, we are recognizing the distortion, the false foundation that we have been, you know, looking up towards, trying to fight for their attention or their love, their unconditional love. That's not even, they're not capable of it, because they would have to see this within themselves and heal that, just like every single one of us has to see each other for what they are. So the more we heal, the more we can understand, the more we learn, the more we are healing and not going to mimic and continue these toxic, very distorted. I mean, like this is like on borderline. Like this is like, can become a sickness. This is a sickness, can be. So, and look, the overall, like what I just said, the beautiful outcome that even this has occurred to someone, like absolutely. Like I even see it from my father to me, and like crazy, right? And then look at what we're seeing, even the competition amongst like relationships, the male to the female. Like it's like how Sway, how? But like, okay, so if the son eventually, and this is still the example, if the son eventually recognizes the very unhealthy dynamic and chooses not to repeat it with his own children, right? That is the goal. Many people would describe that as breaking an intergenerational cycle, that curse of that, or breaking a generational pattern. These are all really just, these are patterns. These are patterns that we allow to continue because we have to do the work to recognize it. So the best way to put it, you guys, like from a spiritual teaching, right? But this is like psychology. It's like This is very important, okay? A paternal lineage distortion is an unhealthy father-to-child pattern. And I would say like mother to child, of course, too. It goes all ways. That is repeated across generations until someone recognizes it, right? And it's like, the chosen what you know, who the, like, our ancestors even like choose you guys, like choose us to recognize it, break it, and so it doesn't continue. But so yeah, father to child or mother to child pattern that is repeated across generations until someone recognizes it and chooses a different path. All right, breaking free from. Instead of blessing the next generation, the pattern may involve control, criticism, emotional absence, competition, or fear. Healing begins when truth is acknowledged, it is spoken on, okay, to the family, like it is brought up and shown how serious this is with examples, I'm sure. The cycle is no longer repeated, and healthy love replaces inherited dysfunction. This is why, you guys, we say we must stand up for our truth. If we feel we are being controlled, manipulated, I don't care if it is your parents, like clearly that is not love. That is confusion, that is distortion, that is illusion. Like this is when you would be like, my parent needs help, you know, like I can't help them, but like, you know, like they need help. Just like the parent looks at the kid, oh, they're smoking, they need help, like they can't be doing that. I'm just saying, you guys, we are all grown here on this, and this is serious. So this definitely has occurred, and I know it. Just even reading that, you guys, like that occurred in my family dynamic, and I'm sure it's occurred in yours. And this is what we're here to do. We are. This is the biggest, like, what God is breaking down, because it's even down to, like, you guys, like our politicians, like how that is ran, even like how our financial system is run. Like it's distorted. It's ridiculous. It's like, you know, the rich keep getting richer, the poor keep getting poorer. I wonder why. You know, it's like a distortion all day long, like crazy, right? So this correlates within, like, you guys are standing up and recognizing this, and not going to be the one that's going to be beaten and, you know, bruised over this, because you're your own legacy, babe, and you're stepping away. These are, you know, at the end of the day. So you guys have surpassed, some of you, like extremes like that. And I had to step away from my family like that, you know, like it's crazy, you guys. It's stuff that you don't want to believe, but it's occurring. This is real, like, and it's okay. Just, you got to take care of yourself, you know, and you get to make that change, you know, you get to be that change. And then, you know, they can learn from you. That is also, yeah, it's shifting that dynamic, and they will learn over time, and let God, you know, take care of them. But so, and God is going to restore you down from your root all the way up through your chakras, like through your crown to your star. Like he is proud. He is so proud of you guys. This can be overnight change. Like we're talking like your cravings for like healthier foods. Like when you break away, you are disconnecting your energy from these distortions. So yes, like I said, when you take your energy back, you call your power back, you will begin to feel healthier, because this is like siphoning energy, you know, like it's like a parent having an addiction to their own child, like keeping them kept like that. That is a form. All of these are forms of siphoning. Even the such a strong manifestation to want to, like, become the child, but like, where does the child go then? It's like, is heavy, like heavy stuff, you guys. This is abuse. And like, think about some of these kids that since they were children, and that becomes your normal. How do you break free? Well, I'm telling you right now, whoever, you're breaking free. You guys are going to recognize this. You're going to see this. And I want you guys to say, and God is restoring you. You guys have gone through ego deaths to see this stuff for exactly what it is, okay? And yes, you guys, there's healing to be had, of course, right? But the sooner we recognize these things, the quicker you can stop the pattern. You're not gonna continue a pattern like that. This is hurtful. Like, this is, like, we're not going to become become the toxicity that we were raised in, that we had to look at as normal, that we had to succumb to, that we had to get used to, knowingly that it was, that we maybe didn't know the word abuse, but it sure hurt. It didn't feel good, So all we can do is heal, understand it, dissect it, and learn from it, and definitely move away from it. Okay, and tell someone, speak on this, And you guys, honestly, like, if this is something that is occurring to you, and or like if you have a child and these are the grandparents, or like, you guys, I know this is like a sickness. This is a sickness, but it can't continue. So, like, please, you can speak to me. Obviously, I hope that you guys will, if you resonate with this and you see it's occurring somewhere in your home to you, please, I really hope you guys speak up and get the help needed from someone safe, an authority figure, what have you. Okay. Yes. And but I'm really proud of, like, this is change. This is how we shift. This is how we heal. This is how we make changes for the better. Okay. And we will follow too. Like, God is here helping even the parents that did this. Okay, so that was heavy, but this is real stuff, you guys. Okay, so let's not be ashamed of it. Like, we just don't want it to continue. Okay, and this is why we have these. We are a collective. Like, I hope everyone feels safe on my channel, that they can reach out to me, and, like, it's a safe space. This is where our world is shifting to. These are hard, scary truths, but they don't have to continue. They don't have to be scary anymore. We can all choose to recognize them and heal. Right? It's a distortion of the mind, you guys, and people need help. They need help. So I just want to end and say this all together. I have a hunger for that which will help me. I am attracted to that which will nourish me. I am motivated towards that which will build me. I choose me. Okay? I love you guys.
What you wanna see, how you wanna dance, yeah. I don't know anyone who dance like you, yeah. Bum, bada, bum, bada, boom, yeah. Bum, bada, bum,